he's missed 11 games, Alexander Steen's 24 goals this season still have him tied for 5th most in the NHL. And his return tonight couldn't have come at a better time as he and the Blues take on the hottest team in hockey, the Anaheim Ducks. Can the Blues reverse the California curse and get a win tonight? Find out next. Tonight at Scott Train as the Blues wrap up a 3-game homestand. Tonight, Brian Elliott goes for his 14th consecutive win in regulation on home ice. He'll be opposed by the rookie Frederik Andersen. His last game was 2 games ago as the Ducks walloped the Canucks 9-1. It is the second of 3 meetings, and great to have Steen back in the lineup. 24 goals on the year, including 6 game winners, which leads the Blues. As we are set for hockey, Ducks won the earlier match in St. Louis 5-2. That is Saku Koivu. He is between Andrew Cogliano and Kyle Palmieri. It is Sobotka, Tarasenko, and Morrow for the Blues. And Blues hockey is brought to you by Bud Light. It's the sure sign of a good time. Here we go. Blues control the faceoff. Lobbed in by Morrow. And then Tarasenko taken out back of the goal by Ben Lovejoy. And the puck up the wall. And now worked on to center by Cogliano. And then Palmieri will fire it in. Ducks played last night in Chicago. Fell behind 3-0. Scored a couple of late goals but lost 4-2. As Elliott covers it. And that ended their 8-game winning streak.
Well, 2 veteran coaches and former Jack Adams Award winners in this game. Because it's time now for the St. Louis Blues Toyota keys to the game. And you know your best players are always the key, especially in a big heavyweight matchup like this. And scoring first means you're going to be on your toes. Both teams are exceptional when playing with the lead.
And now it's top line against top line here. And Steen has been reunited with Backes and Oshie. Kept in, gets lobbed to Perry, and a good stick there by the birthday boy, Pietrangelo. And then rolled along by Oshie. Anderson to play it, puts it high on the glass. Knocked down by Oshie, who had the Blues' lone goal the other night on a penalty shot. And now it is Bouwmeester back to the Duck line. And recovered by Corey Perry. And that's picked off by Jaden Schwartz. Ducks back in a bit, Schwartz a drive, and that's blocked by Bolshevik. And now Schwartz again. And he circles the goal for Stewart. And then in tight quarters, Schwartz is knocked down, and the Ducks have numbers the other way. And then Getzlaf into the zone. And a shot from the angle there by Silverberg, and that's off the stick of Elliott and out of play.
Corey Perry is in a great deal of pain on the bench. He just got drilled right there at the bench, and he is in a great deal of discomfort, as we see from our Plaza Tire Service replay right here. Big hit, open ice hit, and Corey Perry just crumbled right there. So pound for pound, TJ Oshie at 190 pounds. He distributes his weight real well, and that was just a good, clean hit.
And now back to the goal. It is Nick Bonino in front, and that's cleaned up by Roman Polak. Paired again with Ian Cole, who is back after sitting 1 game. Not dressed tonight for the Blues, Carlo Koliakovo, Jordan Leopold, and Adam Cracknell, as this is an icing call. And, of course, the Blues are still missing Max Lapierre.
And for Bruce Boudreau, the man they call Gabby, in back-to-back games, pretty impressive record. As we mentioned, they played last night in Chicago, but they're 6-1-2 in the second game of back-to-backs. Last 5 games with Corey Perry on a roll. They're 4-1-0 and have outscored the opposition, John Kelly, 21-11.
And he said about last night's game, we weren't at our best in Chicago. But Chicago's a pretty good team. And he knows the Blues are a very deep and talented club. Now Cam Fowler for Getzlaf, along with Perry and Bolesky. So Perry does not miss a shift here. Elliott flips it ahead now for Backes. And that pass off a shin pad and Karen's back in behind the Blues goal.
You know, John, I watched Perry on the bench. I think he was just winded more than anything else, and that's why he's back out there. He blew the trainer off really quickly when he came over to talk to him.
And now a long stretch pass by Polak. There's Steen near the Duck line, and he was upended. And now Penner into Perry. Look out. Perry fakes it. Lets it go. Oh, save and a dandy by Elliott.
Oh, those are quick mitts, huh? Quick mitts from that close in. The right-handed Perry loves to go high to the glove side. So that is good research and pre-scouting certainly done by Brian Elliott, but in close quarters, that glove's in the right spot right there. And that's a terrific save. Here from our Plaza Tire Service replay, a little contact there. Big Mark Fistrick, the former Dallas Star, taking on Steen at the blue line. So that's the first bit of contact for Alexander Steen.
Now, Bolshevin a shot wide. Ducks have had the first 3 shots of this game. Reeves can't clear it. Now Pat Maroon, the St. Louisan, centers it. And that's taken care of by Bomeister. And now on to center ice for Reeves.
I think Bomeister was there. Daniel Winnick was wide open.
And a hit by Fistrick on Reeves. Fistrick ahead. And the puck grabbed by Maroon, who did not play last night. And now Jackman back defensively. And goes to Jackman again. These Ducks are a very fast team, and they have a good forecheck. Now it's the Blues into the zone. Roy drops it off. Shattenkirk a drive, and he missed the goal as he tried to go high. And then it's Reeves back to Roy. On the line, another shot by Shattenkirk. That's blocked in front by Bolshevin. And Maroon turns and fires it off the boards to center ice.
And Bernie, you got a good look at that. But those are the kind of shots that Shattenkirk is normally so good at getting through and not getting blocked there.
Yeah, there's not a lot of room, Panger. There's the couple of times now the Ducks are really doing a good job getting in the lanes.
And now a shot by Sobotka is on goal, and that's gloved by Anderson.
So the Blues getting some chances on the rush. Good support there by Payarvi, but he sees that Derek Roy is following it up. And that's the first shot. Shattenkirk misses wide right there on big Frederick Anderson. All 6'4", 220 pounds of him.
He was their 3rd-round pick in 2012. And was recalled from the minors in late November. The Ducks roll it in. Pollock a hit on Benino. Now the puck centered off the skate of Sobotka, grabbed by Tarasenko. Nice backhand feed, and then drilled in by Cole. This is Lovejoy. Up the boards. Good hit by Sobotka. Ducks turn it over, and Tarasenko on a tightrope kept that in at the line for Sobotka. Out high, Pollock. That shot blocked. Ball in front, and he can't knock it into the net. And kept in with a stick by Sobotka. He'll chip one to the corner. And now Tarasenko in front. Tipped away, Sobotka again. The blast, and that goes wide. Pollock kept it in. Now to Morrow in front. Sobotka out high. Off his stick, Lovejoy winds it around. And that is Cole with a good read there. And now the Ducks take over, and they finally relieve the pressure and pop it onto center ice. Blues right back in. Here's Pollock in front. That was intended for Oshie Steen, broken up. And then the puck fired back down the ice.
Yeah, the Anaheim Ducks wanted too many men on the ice penalty while the Blues were making a change. But that wasn't to be. They only had 4 guys on the ice, so it looked to me like it was the right non-call.
Ryan Smith said right away, Panger, he was off. So it's a correct call.
That's kept in by Steen. And he can't dipsy-doodle around Cogliano, the former Edmonton first-rounder. Now Koivu into the zone to Palmieri, a drive, and a save by Elliott. He's got it. He looked around for a split second, but he has it.
Another kid with some good speed, Kyle Palmieri. A right-hand shot again, busting through there. They can attack the net with the best of them around the NHL. Makes a nice little move there, bringing it from his forehand, slides it through his legs, stays onside, and gets a real good shot. This is the play by Tarasenko, barely keeping the puck in the zone, avoids the hit, and then now it's a clinic of possession in the offensive zone, and they just missed there. That was Brendan Morrow just missing on the wraparound.
Now the Ducks win a face-off. It comes to Perry. Muscles in front. A shot. They score! Getzlaf into the top corner. And it's 1-0.
This big line here. A lot of congestion in front of the net. And it came at the time where the referee was on the bench talking to one of the Blues players. And Ryan Getzlaf is able to snap this home with his 25th. So face-off win by Anaheim, support by Corey Perry, and he waits right there. The man that Ryan Getzlaf should have all over him is the centerman that he won the draw against, Berglund. But Berglund's just one step on the outside, and that's just enough for Ryan Getzlaf to snap that home.
Yeah, the first thing you learn Panger is the center iceman. If you lose a draw, you stay with your man because he's usually the one that gets the rebound, and that's exactly what happened. Nice power move, though, by Perry.
And now a drive by Stewart, blocked away by Anderson. And with 25 goals, Getzlaf has tied his career high. The goal at 5:27. Now Berglund around the goal. To the line for Pietrangelo. And trying to hit his partner, Bouwmeester. That's blocked. And now Perry the other way. And Perry trying to chip it by Pietrangelo. He does. And then he was blocked by Jaden Schwartz. Now the Ducks get it back to Lovejoy for Fowler. Return feed, Lovejoy again, a shot. And that's well wide. And it's off the boards and back down the ice. Perry and Fistrick get the assist on that goal. As the Ducks draw first blood. Now Lovejoy to center for Maroon. Jackman back defending. And now for Shattenkirk. Up the middle. There's Morrow, but he was squeezed off the puck by Beauchemin.
And Shattenkirk, after he released that puck, boy, did he ever take a big hit there from the St. Louis native, Pat Maroon. Maroon did a good job of just finishing his check and not just skating away from Shattenkirk.
And now it is Morrow. That comes around for Sobotka. And then Tarasenko lets it go. The Sobotka line had the Blues' best shift earlier. And now down the wall, Morrow. In the neighborhood of Tarasenko, fights off a check. And then Morrow comes in and he crashes into a Duck player. That was Benino. And the puck to center ice. Ian Cole, the first man back. Tips one to his partner, Polak.
This is an area that the Blues will have more room making plays against Anaheim than they did against a very aggressive attacking defensive team like the Los Angeles Kings. There's no time to set up with LA, but there is time to set up against Anaheim, and that one's going to be icing there. But once you get it in the offensive zone, then you've obviously got to get control. But here's the key right here, and Bernie, you're talking about it. If we just stop it right here, he's looking here, and there Getzlaf ends up just sliding. Just what is it, a yard? Maybe not even that, and that's how quickly it happens when your stick's just on the other side.
I totally agree. Your stick's got to be on the ice. You got to be strong on your man. I mean, you can't take an interference penalty, obviously, but you've got to be strong on the stick to make sure that you have that stick down. And unfortunately, Berglund didn't have it down, and Getzlaf made him pay.
He was in the area, but not quite close enough. And Getzlaf buries it from Perry and Fistrick at 5:27. Now Shattenkirk ahead for Backes. Center ice to Steen on for Oshie. And Oshie glides in. Now to Jackman right in front. Shot, and Jackman missed the goal. And it's around the boards and now walked along by Dustin Penner. He played on their Cup team back in 07. Then went on to Edmonton and Los Angeles. Here's Perry. He's squeezed at the line. Now it comes to Getzlaf again. Drops it off. Fowler a high shot, and that hit glass. Then comes around to Berglund. And now on for Schwartz. And that goes off the boards and in. And Getzlaf, long feed, that was in the area of Penner, but too far, and he goes off on a line change. You
know, John Kelly, the Blues can do themselves a favor and hit the net more. Got to funnel pucks at the net, but it has to start by hitting the net. They've missed on 3 or 4 chances once they gained the zone and got in there on the rush.
Now it's centered in the area of Stewart, and off the boards to center. The shots are 5-2 for the Ducks. Now Cole in for Schwartz. And then Berglund follows up along with Stewart. Cogliano gets it off the boards to center. Look out here, Koivu behind Cole and a breakaway. And a shot is saved by Elliott on second. Koivu at the line, a drive by the rookie Lindholm. That's tipped by a blue stick, and it goes out of play. So a big stop there by Brian Elliott. Getzlaf has scored to make it 1-0 Ducks.
Koivu, you got to love the way he plays the game. An undersized centerman that never stops working, and nearly gets one here. A pinch by Roman Polak. A keep in there by Cole goes awry, and there's no forward coming back. A little forehand, backhand moving. Cole does a good job here. It doesn't take a minor penalty. How many times have we easily seen that being called right there? But a good save by Brian Elliott, who's been awesome on home ice this year.
And the Ducks win the face-off. Maroon a shot, and that's blocked by Jackman, and then tipped away by Reeves. Elliott's 7-0 at home this year, as you said, and going back to last year in the regular season, he has won 13 in a row in this building.
Yeah, with a very minuscule 1.48 goals against average. That is just remarkable.
Now it is Reeves, along with Roy and Payarby, and then lobbed in by Shattenkirk. And Allen, the first man back. Oh, off the boards, almost came in front. But Anderson was alert. And now it goes to the corner. Reeves there with Roy. And now Allen goes the other way. Jackman pitches down low. And now it's grabbed by Daniel Winnick. And the Blues go off on a line change.
I like what I've seen on this fourth line. I mean, it takes a little time for these players to get a little synergy going on and a little change of pace for Derek Roy in terms of responsibility and ice time, but he and Payarby are working it well here so far.
That's brought down at center ice by Steen. Here's Steen a drive, and that's blocked at the defense, and it goes out of play. 9:44 to go, first period. Ducks with the first goal.
Well, Nick Bonino's been a great story for the Anaheim Ducks this season, truly enjoying a breakout year for himself. He's also best friends with Blues defenseman Kevin Shattenkirk. They played together at Boston University. They were roommates for a couple of years and, of course, won a national championship back in 2009. This summer, Bonino will be getting married. Shattenkirk will be his best man. And, guys, you think about that roster back in 2009, these two of 10 players who went on to play at least one NHL game. They were loaded, and certainly one of the more memorable national championship games in recent memory.
Yeah, Andy, because they came back with 2 goals in the last minute of the game and beat Miami of Ohio for the national championship. As the puck was dumped into the Duck zone. And now Fowler with it. And that is chipped by Shattenkirk all the way down. Here's Bouwmeester for Pietrangelo. Shots are 6-3 for the Ducks as Steen races in. Steen from the angle, a shot. That's off a stick and hit Lovejoy. Now Oshie twists one back to Pietrangelo. And a return feed read there by Getzlaf. And he motors in against his Canadian Olympic teammate Alex Pietrangelo.
And you can see that Getzlaf did his homework. He knew he was going to go forehand, backhand, and he was right there to pick that off.
And now Backes to center ice. Off the stick of Morrow.
Bernie, Alexander Steen's shifts, short and sweet.
Yeah, they are. I mean, he's, you know what, he's got a lot of jump, but I mean, he really hasn't lost a step at all.
And a drive by Bolesky on goal and a pad save by Brian Elliott.
Well, Alex Pietrangelo does a real nice job of identifying Alexander Steen flying down the left side. And we see that, you know, when the Blues play up against the Blackhawks, usually it's a strong side departure, but there he just fires it up the left side, the weak side of the ice, lets Alexander Steen catch up to that puck, and Steen can skate with the best of them in the NHL.
Now a centering pass, and that shot by Silver blocked, and grabbed by Ian Cole. On for Sobotka, and he delays. Now a drive and a glove save, and a tricky one made by Anderson.
Blues have got to do a better job in the defensive zone on the faceoffs. The Anaheim Ducks are getting a lot of chances, guys, off the faceoffs to my right here. Blues have got to do better on the defensive zone.
And the last time these clubs met, the Blues did win 55%, and Berglund was the best at 70%. And here is Berglund on the faceoff. And that's won by Koivu. And tipped to center by Cogliano. This goes all the way down. And an icing call against the visitors.
That's an area that the Blues have done a real nice job all season long. They've been battling it out in that area, led by Vladdy Sobotka. But we all know that Patrick Berglund's always hovered around that 48-49%. And it's an area, I'm sure, for taller guys might be a little bit more difficult. We see how low Vladdy Sobotka gets to the ice and gets a little bit more leverage there on those faceoffs.
And the Blues control this one. It is Stewart back for Shattenkirk. To a wide open Jackman, a shot, tip, rebound, Berglund shot, and Anderson makes that save. And then walked along by Cogliano and was. And now Jackman strong in his own line. For Schwartz, that pass tipped. Here's Allen in for Cogliano. To the net, and that's off the stick of Palmieri. Comes around to Shattenkirk, and chipped along now for Stewart. And he'll roll one in rather softly. Back is on the forecheck. Trying to slow up Fisker, but the Ducks get it. And now Allen with it. On to center ice to Penner. He'll swat it down the ice. Elliott plays one. Now Pietrangelo, he was hit by Getzlaf. And the puck to center ice.
Good battle going on there between Pietrangelo and Getzlaf in this game, as you would
The
expect.
Olympians.
Yeah.
And now a race for the puck, but Fowler gets there. And of course, he'll represent the United States in the Olympics.
Yeah, but it's every single night. That's where you really appreciate guys like Bouwmeester and Pietrangelo. Every single night, it's against the other team's best.
And a drive by Reeves, tipped a bit. And that was blocked by Anderson. And a good keep in there by Pietrangelo. Fowler gets into the corner. And now it's Payarvi on the hunt for Derek Roy. And broken up, and the puck is shot high over the head of Pietrangelo, but no icing here.
Randall's got his mother and father, aunt and uncle here in from King City, Ontario, and Bouwmeester's got his mother and father in from Edmonton, Alberta.
And the puck up in the air, knocked down, Winnick with it.
Good family update.
Very nice. Brought to you by Reader's Digest as the Ducks come in, and a shot is high by Tim Jackman. And that is off the glass. Now Maroon flags it down. And he is pinned by Cole. Maroon trying to get free. And I think Cole's going to take a penalty here. Delayed call against the Blues. And now Pollock in deep. He touches it. And now Pollock gives the Duck player an extra shot there. That was Maroon. He was a bit upset with that. And now Jackman comes in for the Ducks, number 18.
See if Jackman maybe nullifies the power play that Anaheim was going to get. That's an area that the Blues didn't like about their own game against LA the other night.
Yeah, some undisciplined penalties. It looks like this call will go against the Blues.
Ian Cole sits in the penalty box. One of those tough plays in the corner where you release your one mid off the stick and then it gets caught on the inside and you see big Patrick Maroon can't get by, and it's now, here we go again, here we go. And by this time now the referee has finally had enough and makes the call. That's our Plaza Tire Service replay, and it results in a power play for the Anaheim Ducks.
And you can see the Blues are red hot on the kill. The Ducks on the power play 18.6%. And of late they've scored 12 goals in their last 7 games. Now Fowler with it. For Benino, back to Fowler. Now to Getzlaf, who has scored the goal tonight. One-timer by Fowler. That hit a body and just missed on the near side. And now Perry with it. There's the Ducks. Benino sets it up. Fowler. And again to the captain, Getzlaf. Fowler has it out high. Watched by Steen. Now chopped around by Getzlaf. Now to Benino in the slot. Good read by Backes. And then fired away by Pietrangelo.
That is a heck of a redirection in front of the net by Corey Perry. I mean, how he got his stick on that one, the most dangerous play so far for Anaheim on this power play. He's got some great hand-eye coordination, and he's willing to get in front of the net. The Blues are going to have to really battle his stick and somehow get control of that, because when you see Cam Fowler, who was named to the U.S. Olympic team, so he'll be teammates with Kevin Shattenkirk, Backes, and Oshie. He just lets this one rip right here. Watch the blade of the stick there. See the orange shaft? That's Corey Perry's right there. So kind of a little reverse redirection.
And now a shot by Palmieri blocked. Jackman with it. And on 2 chances gets it to Berglund. A couple of games ago, the Ducks beat the Canucks 9-1. How about the power play for Anaheim? 6 for 11 in the game.
Amazingly enough, a 5-on-3 for 7 minutes in that game. Never seen it.
7 minutes.
Never.
Here's a drive by the rookie Lindholm. That was off a skate wide. 30 to go in the power play. And now Koivu. Out high, Lindholm gets it back in the line. Nice pass. And Silverberg's a shot, and that goes wide.
What a good setup that was by Lindholm and Silverberg.
And then Jackman knocks it away from Koivu. Off the boards, and it bounces to center. And Jaden Schwartz in against Lindholm. And the rookie Lindholm does a great job defensively. And now the Ducks to center ice. Maroon in for Winnick. And he pulls up. And that's wide. No shots by the Ducks. And the Blues are back in full strength. Now a shot by Maroon was wide. And then Maroon again. He'll tip one back on the goal. Steered around by Bouwmeester. And then Fistrick is canceled by Sobotka. And then Maroon gets it. Fistrick has to go off his blade to center ice. And the Clubs, well, they've changed it in center ice. Allen blasts it back in. That goes off the glass, but it's offside. Well, the Blues' next home game is January 28th as the Blues welcome the New Jersey Devils. And this could be the last chance to see Marty Brodeur in goal. Tickets available now for as low as $35 on stlouisblues.com.
That's a big Steen head right there.
He got all that money, but he didn't get a big head, guys. Let's not confuse that.
That's very true, isn't it?
He is down to earth.
Yep.
His last game was December 21st against Edmonton.
He knows that noggin so well. He obviously goes back. He speaks to his former teammates in French, Paul Correa and Andy McDonald as well, just making sure he gets advice from them too and just talks his way through it. He's done a good job of coming back from the head injuries and getting on his program and doing what's right to make sure he's ready to go.
And this is it on goal. And Steen was taken down in front of Anderson. And we're going to face off in the Duck zone with 2:52 left.
Now Shattenkirk and Corey Perry having some words here. But that puck's getting covered. But see, I'm sure that Steen's thinking, is the goalie going to play it? And then the goalie quickly covers up. And at that point, Alexander Steen kind of blew a tire there trying to stop right on the doorstep.
The last time the Ducks were here, they led 4-0 en route to that 5-2 win. They had 3 first-period goals in that game and lead here by 1.
Well, 41% of the goals against the Blues, John and Bernie, have come in the first period.
Now it is Koivu in for the Ducks. Back for Lindholm, a shot, and a glove save by Elliott. He bobbled it just a bit, but covers it.
Good job fighting through that. Anytime you've got a little bit of traffic, even if it's a little wrister like this, it doesn't matter. That's what traffic's all about. So there's a couple of screens there. I think the first player of the Blues, Schwartz, is there. Little screen. Now you're trying to track it down. Goes right off the thick part of the palm of your glove, not in the webbing. And the good news for Brian Elliott is he was able to secure that and make sure there's no second chance.
As Sobotka wins it cleanly from Koivu. And now Pollock for his buddy from the Czech Republic. Sobotka for Tarasenko. Back in front. Tipped on goal. And a save by Anderson, who is now running to the net by his own man, Bolshevik. And Anderson, for a moment, had lost his stick. This is kept in by Morrow. In front. Tarasenko takes it off his skates. Great pass back. Here's Cole, the drive, and looking for a tip. That was wide. Pollock kept it in. Now Tarasenko. He'll roll it low. Morrow back in front by everybody. Now Cole again to Tarasenko. A shot just wide. The head of body, maybe Morrow. And now Sobotka again. And he gets out high to the net. And the Ducks punch it back the other way. And this will be an icing call. Another great shift by the Sobotka line.
And right away, Steen, Backes, and Oshie come onto the ice. They know the Anaheim Ducks are a tired group. And so get right out there, drop the puck, get the face-off. That's a terrific shift again. Tarasenko, Sobotka started it with getting a nice little pass from Roman Pollock in the neutral zone.
And now Backes against Koivu. Blues win it, back for Pietrangelo. And then Bouwmeester shooting one, that's wide. And it comes around to Lindholm, and the rookie will scoop it high, and now the Ducks can make the change that they need to make. And Steen back to center ice. That's off a stick and comes up over the glass at center ice.
Well, Bernie will focus in on this offensive zone faceoff. I think, if I'm not mistaken, good play. Stop it here if we can. You see Backes now? He's letting this puck. He's waiting right here for Steen. And Steen right away is darting there as Backes is blocking the centerman. Set play, Bernie?
Yep, absolutely. That's what you do is you don't have to win the faceoff. I mean, too many times it's not the onus on the center iceman to win the faceoff. He just has to make the tie and let the winger come in to help. I mean, that's a win because of the winger, not because of the center iceman.
And now the Blues off the faceoff. It's rolled in on goal. Anderson makes the save. And we'll get a faceoff. Well, Fox Sports Midwest is at the Cardinals winter warm-up all weekend, and we're bringing you 2 Cardinals winter warm-up specials. with player interviews and much more. Get ready for Cardinals baseball with the Winter Warm-Up Special Monday at 9:30 on Fox Sports Midwest. And the puck off the glass and then fired back in by Bouwmeester with 70 seconds left in the opening period. Early goal by Getzlaf at 5:27. And he has the puck into the zone. Intended for Perry. That's broken up, and now it's Pietrangelo back for Bouwmeester. Handed on to Oshie. And that pass is blocked. And here comes Getzlaf right back in. Little toe drag move. In front of Fowler. A shot. Rebound. Off the goalpost. Oh, Perry hit the goalpost. And then Backus fires it out.
All because of a pickup by Getzlaf in the neutral zone.
And then is fired down low by Perry. Well, Hitchcock said the Ducks are fast and they have great sticks. And that was a great example there. Oshie to Backus. And he is stood up and knocked down by Brian Allen, the longtime Canuck. And now Fistrick for Benito with 15 to go in the period. And Jackman handles it at his own line now for Stewart. And that goes down the ice. Fistrick the first man back with 5 to go in the period. Shattenkirk trying to step up. Now for Jackman. Time's going to run down. And the horn sounds to end the first period.
Yeah, and Stewart and Fistrick had a little bit of a battle there. Stewart, I think, got surprised by the left forearm of Fistrick when he went in on the forward check. That might get things heated up and that intensity burning in that second period.
Shots 8-7 for the Ducks as Getzlaf has the only goal. Let's go to Pat Paris.
All right, John Kelly, thank you very much. An entertaining first period. The Blues compete level certainly there, but on the scoreboard, they trail the Ducks 1-0 after 20 minutes of play. Ahead on the SAPA GM Country Intermission Report, we'll have our Player of the Week in high school hockey. We'll tell you what's on tap. First period recap with Bernie Federko, and also we'll tell you about Brett Hull being at the St. Louis Auto Show coming up next week, and all that and much more ahead on the SAPA GM Country Intermission Report. Blues trail up 1-0 after one period on the Ryan Getzlaf goal, his 25th. Stay with us on your home of the Blues, Fox Sports Midwest.
And the Ducks on a Getzlaf goal with a 1-0 lead as we get set for the second period. John and Darren back in the broadcast. But the Blues had 7 shots on goal, 3 by Sobotka. But Darren, it wasn't so many that they had on net, but how many they missed the net.
You know, the game plan going into this is getting the puck down low, working the cycle, and then punting it back to the points where the Blues defense are so good at walking the line and creating better scoring angles. But early on in this game, they really didn't test the goaltender Anderson that much. Missed shot from the point position, cutting back, having a chance to shoot. That one there kind of went off the heel of the stick of Jackman. Another missed opportunity. A lot of times you have to miss the net because the traffic in front, you don't want it to be blocked and then going the other way. But I think that would be one area that the Blues would have talked about in the locker room, saying get that puck on net. It doesn't have to be hard, just has to be on net.
And that man hit the net for 25th of the year as we get set for the second period. Teams are at full strength. And Blues hockey brought to you by Bud Light. It's the sure sign of a good time. Here we go. Blues won 41% of the draws in that first, but they win this one. And now Tarasenko on with Sobotka and Morrow. This was the Blues' best line in the first period. And now pried free by Jackman. Back to Morrow, drive. That was wide, and another shot off the target. And then scooped high by Cogliano. For Palmieri into Koivu. Drop pass. Palmieri a shot. And that's blocked by Shattenkirk. And now taken by Jackman ahead for Sobotka. And that pass up in the air. And Boschman gets it back for the Ducks to the rookie Lindholm. And that's off the boards. And in deep behind the Blues goal. Grabbed by Jackman.
Lindholm had a heck of a first period. Played just over 7 minutes, leading all defensemen on the blue line for Anaheim.
And he's 19 years old. As the Blues come in, Oshie a shot and a glove save by another rookie, Anderson. And no further play, but Lindholm at 19 leads the Ducks in plus-minus at plus 25. That's second best in the entire league.
Keep in mind, too, he plays with a pretty solid pro in Francois Beauchemin as well. But that's a good decision here by Oshie, who's got 3 goals in his last 2 games. 1 on the penalty shot the last game, 2 against Phoenix the game before that. But might as well fire the puck. You've got Alex Steen. There's no way Steen can accept a pass there. He's trying to drive hard to the net. The one area the Blues talked about before this game, fellas, is that center lane drive. Getting that pressure, backing off the other team's D a little bit more.
And the Blues win the faceoff, but Oshie can't get a shot through. And tipped to center by Penner. And then driven back in by Pietrangelo. Here's Oshie for Steen. And that's knocked away. Getzlaf recovers. Worked over by Backes. As Backes with a good forecheck. Back to Bouwmeester. And that shot was blocked by Perry. And then moved along by Lovejoy. And that goes all the way down for an 19 call.
When you look at TJ Oshie, the first 37 games, only 4 goals, but red hot the last 9, coincides with the announcement of his participation in the upcoming Winter Olympics in Sochi, representing the USA, but he is playing a good hungry hockey game, getting on pucks and making obviously some great reads.
And his first ever penalty shot goal the other night against the Kings. Had one in college, but he did not score. He thought it might have been against Big Ben in Maine, but he wasn't quite sure. It was 0 for 1 in college on penalty shots.
Jonathan Quick tried to give him a little bit of that fake poke check, and as Jonathan Quick was getting his stick back in the position, bang, that puck was in the net. And it's just so unique the way he can fire a puck through the legs of a goaltender.
Now Berglund a drive, and where is it? It's through the legs, but under the legs. As Anderson had no idea where it was, and he has it. And a stoppage in play.
Well, Berglund would like nothing more than to erase that face-off loss in that first period that resulted in the centerman he was up against, Getzlaf, scoring a goal. When you're in that position and you're looking back, you're obviously, one part of it is there's such uncertainty, but I always found that you were sharper when you looked behind you because you identified it's not there, and if it's not there, it's got to be somewhere else. And if you're not sharp, you're not looking behind you.
Panger, are the pads now, the new pads, do you have a better feel? I mean, is it easier for the goaltender to feel the pads now with this type of pad or the old leather ones that you guys used to wear?
Definitely the old leather ones.
Okay.
Because these ones here have got, there's about, the amount of inches, maybe a couple of inches, 3 inches of that knee. They're kind of more like blocks. So I don't know how the goaltenders could feel them. At least ours, our straps were tighter to our legs. And that old, the old deer hair, you could actually feel the puck underneath you.
Interesting.
And a drive by Bolesky. He scores! Elliott got a piece, but not enough, and it's 2-0.
That's an area that Brian Elliott is so good at, too. On that blocker side, we've said that time and time again, watching him. He rarely gives up rebounds on that side. Here, he thinks he's got it. Here's another example of just not being able to feel where that puck is. And he thinks it's in front of him, so he doesn't look back. And just going back to what I said about Anderson before, looking back. So he thinks he's got it here, and he thinks it's in good shape. Now he looks back, and it's taken that one dribble, and before Derek Roy can get there, goes through his arm, off the leg, and then just dribbles in the net. Ooh, that's one of those momentum deflators right there.
Ken Hitchcock talked about those gray areas coming out of their own zone. That puck barely got out of the zone, and it really created the odd man rush there because the transition game was not there coming out of their own zone.
So Bolesky gets his 4th of the year, first in 7 games. And the goal at 2:27. And the Ducks enjoy a 2-0 lead.
That's one of those ones as a goaltender. I mean, you know that you've let the guys down in front of you. Now it's about rebounding. Now it's about forgetting about it because you've got to have a real short memory in that net. There's not a worse feeling in the world knowing that it's a shot that you should handle and it ends up dribbling into the net. I've been down that road before, fellas.
Nick Bonino gets the only assist. Now it is Dustin Penner trying to barge in front. He was denied. Oshie has lost his stick. Actually, I think Pietrangelo did, but he got Oshie. Now Oshie grabs a stick. And now it's Pietrangelo for Bouwmeester. And the Blues on to center ice. Lindholm, the first man back. And the rookie will reverse it now for Beauchemin. And then Perry's pass tipped by Penner. And that bounces down the ice. It's Ian Cole. Long stretch pass for Sobotka. That's off the mark. And icing called against the Blues.
Well, before the game, head coach Ken Hitchcock talked about the gray areas of the ice, getting pucks in and getting them out. And we're going to stop this here if we can. By the time Jackman does get it, this is the line that you're talking about right there. And just inside the blue line, just outside the blue, inside and outside the blue line. That one gets turned over, hits a number of players, and a quick strike turnover like that ends up in the net for the Blues.
And the faceoff won by Sobotka. And it comes up the near side. Lovejoy pinches in. And now it is Maroon against Pollock. But Cole gets it back for the Blues. And now Sobotka on his horse to center ice. Moved in by Pollock, a shot. And a blocker saved by Anderson. And the Ducks the other way. Here's Jackman. And he was rocked by Sobotka. And you can hear that way up here. And now it's Pollock for Morrow. Into open ice for Sobotka. And he darts it. And then Morrow with it. And a shot. And a body goes wide. And it comes around. Tarasenko diving. Can't get there. Winnick does for Anaheim. Here he comes. Winnick in the slot. And then Fowler a shot. And a penalty called here against the Blues as Fowler was tripped up. And then Lovejoy a pass down low to Maroon on this delayed penalty. And Maroon gives Morrow a bit of an elbow. At least from here it looked like that. And now we'll get a penalty on the Blues. And Morrow's upset.
Morrow has a good scoring chance the other way and fired it off the right pad, it looked like, of the goaltender Anderson. Then it goes the other way. A pretty good scoring chance in front of Brian Elliott. And here's Fowler jumps in there, gets tripped from behind there by Brendan Morrow. And then, as you're right, as he goes to get the puck from Maroon keeps the arms up right there, and it's usually Brendan Morrow that's able to surprise players.
And a trip to Morrow, so the Ducks with a 2-0 lead will get a power play. Their second of the night. And it is Bonino on the faceoff, wins it from Backes. For Getzlaf. And now for Perry. Perry back to Getzlaf. Fakes it into Fowler shot, and that goes wide. And around for Bonino. And now Fowler again. Flip back to the line. Bonino winds up a shot, and that was blocked by Elliott. And then cleared by Backes, I think off a stick or a body, out of play. And we get a whistle. That previous shot there, it also may have kissed the goalpost behind Elliott.
Yeah, I agree with you. Just glanced off it. Brian, the shot by Bonino. Short side, great screen in front. And the puck does get through. You see Petrangelo's position in there, kind of sideways, not fronting the puck, and then that might create a little bit of even of a double screen right there.
And now the Blues control the faceoff. Pollock, and he was held a bit. And a penalty called against the Ducks for hooking.
Is that the goal scorer? Molesky, yes. I believe, is going off. Offensive zone minor penalty while on the power play. A tough one to take for Bruce Boudreau and the Anaheim Ducks. Now the Blues get a chance because that is nullified. The Blues got to find a way to get into this hockey game and have a little bit more sustained pressure. It can't be that Top Gun offense where it's in and out. It's got to have some type of continuity. There's the stick right in the midsection there of Roman Pollock as Pollock's trying to get it out of the zone.
So we go 4-on-4. Getzlaf and Bolesky have scored for the Ducks. Here is Sobotka. And he skates it away from Lindholm. And now down low for Jaden Schwartz, but Boschman gets it back.
And Sobotka needed an outlet there. There was nowhere to go. He did the smart thing, put it into the open ice, and hoped that one of his teammates could get it. Schwartz was the closest guy.
You see both clubs are pretty good 4-on-4. That shot. Well, the short side by Cogliano, handled by Elliott. And Jackman runs his man down. And Sobotka ahead for Shattenkirk into Schwartz. Can't make a move, and Getzlaf is away to the races here. And getting back Bouwmeester to break it up. Puck comes in front, though, and a backhand attempt by Cogliano, but he missed that bouncing puck.
That's a tough place to toe drag it. That's exactly that gray area. It's not just inside your own blue line. It's just as you enter the opposition's blue line and just on the inside. That's a tough area right there for a turnover because everybody's going north.
In 25 seconds, the Blues will get a power play. Tarasenko cruises in. And a hard shot and a save there by Frederik Andersen. And we get a break in the action. Bolesky's goal has made it 2-0 Ducks.
Normally at this time, Bernie Federko interviews the head coach, Ken Hitchcock, and it's not very often that Ken Hitchcock says no. He is as good as it gets at doing the interviews during the game. But it does give the players the opportunity now because our service member of the game, Scott Linney, is being introduced on the Jumbotron. And I love this part of the game where the Blues players, they tap their stick. The visiting team looks around, they tap their stick in recognition and thanks to the servicemen and women around our country.
Absolutely. Still 4-on-4 for 15 seconds. Shots in the game 12-10 for the Blues, but they're down by 2. And now up the middle, it's Nick Bonino. And then in for Winnick. Chased back of the goal by Shattenkirk. And a loose change taken by Pietrangelo. And Morrow's out of the box. And that was intended for Morrow, but it's out of his reach, so an icing call. So the Blues have a brief power play here for 22 seconds.
Yeah, Petrangelo's just trying to find Brendan Morrow. He was just off the mark right there. He's trying to bank it off the boards. It's a tough billiards play. It's got to be perfect.
Yeah, and he really wasn't that far behind the play there, Pangers. So, you know what, again, with the power play, he would have been by himself, would have been really 1-on-3. So it's kind of probably a better chance, unless you're going to spring him on a breakaway, just with 20-some seconds, just try to set something up, get one play into the zone so you can get at least a shot on the power play.
Here's control the face-off, Pietrangelo. He is watched by Cogliano now for Shattenkirk. In for Alexander Steen. Steen delays a bit. Back to Backes. He leaves the Blues with 7 power play goals. Shattenkirk a shot. That failed to get through. Held in by the Blues. And then Backes a shot. And a glove save as the penalized player Bolesky is back. So that short-lived power play is history.
A little miscommunication there, trying to get things sorted, but David Backes doesn't normally end up at the left point on that power play. Big number 42 is the guy that gets in front of the net and causes a distraction. Instead, the smaller Derek Roy ended up there, but sometimes it just happens. There's no exact science in certain situations. You got to be there and be an outlet, because I think Shattenkirk was the one that kind of slid down low as well, so Backes had to back him up.
And the Ducks win another face-off. No icing here. Ian Cole tips one to an open side. Now Bonino gets it back, and a quick shot by Bonino. And that was blocked, and now Oshie has it. In front of his own goal to Pollock. And then Berglund whiffs on a pass, but there's Pollock defending. And then Oshie blew a tire away from everybody. That was a rather peculiar breakout for the Blues. They'll try again. Here's Cole. Tipped in by Oshie.
See that gap closure there. Mark Fistrick, the veteran defenseman, he wasn't going to back off that line. He was going to hold the line. And the minute, even if it got tipped, he was still going to eliminate the body. And that's what he did on that play. Tough for the Blues right now to get through the neutral zone and get it into the offensive zone.
And now it is Ian Cole for Tarasenko. Pollock to Cole. And he'll snap it around the end boards. Tarasenko was pinned by Allen. Now Tarasenko moves it in front toward the goal. That's blocked. And then Sobotka was knocked into the goaltender.
Well, the Blues did show some patience, though. You can't force things when the neutral zone coverage is that good. So we'll take a look here. Let this develop for 1 second, guys, and then I'm going to stop it. Stop it here if we can. Now you got your one. Look at this positioning right here. I mean, pretty good. So what are you going to do when that happens? So you got to reverse the flow a little bit. Oh, then you got to, that one there gets knocked off the tape. And Jacklin, if he gets that puck off of Roman Pollock's stick, he's in all alone. So good coverage. You got to give Anaheim credit for it.
Blues win the draw. Steen, a shot, and that goes wide. And then back of the goal, Oshie. And a penalty called here. I think it's against the Ducks.
Interference call in front of the net. Good quick burst right there. You know that these Blues veterans, led by Alexander Steen, Oshie, and Backes, they know how urgent this is.
Oh, it's against Steen.
Oh,
pardon me.
Let's see where that interference came from here. In front of the net.
There it is.
He gives Lindholm a push. Gives him a little slight extension of the arms, shove on the backside, and push him into the net. That's a little turn of events. I thought that was going up against Anaheim.
Ducks are 0 for 2 tonight. Draws one by Bonino. At the line, a shot by Getzlaf and a stop by Elliott. And now Fowler has it. In for Perry, back to Getzlaf. Bonino back to Fowler. Around the horn it goes. Getzlaf again. Fowler to Bonino and a drive, and that was blocked, I think, by Bouwmeester. And at the line, but Backes couldn't get it out. And now Bonino back to Fowler, a shot. Hit traffic on the way through. Rebound. Goes just wide of the Blues' goal. And then Bolesky will throw it to the line. And now we have Bolesky in front with Backes. Bolesky has lost his helmet. Play continues.
Bolesky's doing a good job in front of that net. He's been tough to move.
Now Fowler around the inboards. And then Nick Bonino for Getzlaf. And then Fowler winds up. He scores! Fowler with a rocket. And it's 3-0.
You got to give Bolesky a lot of credit. He lost his lid, and he still stuck around, hung out there, and he put incredible pressure on Brian Elliott's vision. Elliott can't find the puck here. I'm burning good traffic in front.
You know, and Bolesky actually took the first shot that Getzlaf had at the beginning right on these shin pads. And this one here, I totally agree. He took abuse, but boy, I tell you what, he was the reason that this puck goes in.
Well, again, we showed a play earlier where Pietrangelo goes on one knee and kind of gets stationed to his side. And it's kind of in no man's land. You kind of have to get a piece of that or get the heck out of the way, in my opinion, anyway. Because now your goaltender's got to face with that, and then he's faced with the Bolesky in front of the net.
Now Koivu back for Beauchemin. He moved in, a shot, rebound. Oh, Elliott got over. Puck still loose in front. And then finally grabbed by Sobotka. The goal by Fowler is fifth at 9:13. And the Ducks lead 3-0. And now Shattenkirk on the attack. No one was there in front. And then Morrow to the corner. But Beauchemin gets it back for the Ducks. And that's chopped away. Here's Jackman to Shattenkirk. Now for Tarasenko. Trying to cut to the middle. He'll drop it off to Jackman. That shot hits Sobotka, and that stung. Now it's Cole, a drive blocked, and off to the races, Palmieri. A breakaway, Palmieri in, and a save by Elliott. And Sobotka at the other end limps off. And now Cole to center ice. Tarasenko tips it back of the goal. Here's Alvin for the Ducks. And around to Penner. This comes to center. Off a leg now, grabbed by Derek Roy. And here's Roy, a little backhander. No problem there for Frederick Anderson. And then Roy is knocked down back of the goal. And we get a stoppage. Sobotka in a lot of pain. And his club is in some difficulty here. Down 3-0 after that power play goal.
Well, Bolesky has the second goal of the game, his third of the year. That came early on in the second period, but now he's a big part of this one here. This was a battle that was extraordinary behind the net. Just got drilled there by David Backes, and Backes stayed with him, didn't take a penalty, but Bolesky's helmet's off to the far right side, but he goes right back to where he started on this power play, right in front of the net. Great net front presence. He sticks with it. You see the frustration shown by Pietrangelo, and it's a 3-0 deficit.
Now the Blues control the face-off. It comes to Cole. And off the boards. Payarvi back on the goal. And then Morrow there as well. Now Derek Roy. Roy out high. Long shot. Tipped in front. Ryan Reeves can't get it. And the Ducks, Bonino does. Chased by Reeves. And now for Lovejoy. And his pass up the boards. And no icing here. Bolesky beat Ian Cole to the dots. So no icing. And now the Blues at the line. And they can't get it out. And it's Cole again for the Blues. Long pass. Blocked at center by Fistrick. Here's Winnick trying to feather one through. Now Winnick again, a shot. Off a body in front. And Jaden Schwartz at center ice. Now Schwartz gets it again. And he's chased by Jackman. And where's that puck? It must have gone out of play at the bench. And we get a whistle. Well, are you looking for a great deal on some Blues tickets for an upcoming game? Well, get 2 tickets and 2 Blues t-shirts starting at $63 with Ticketmaster T-shirt Tuesday for the January 28th game against New Jersey. Visit stlouisblues.com/tickets for more information. After tonight's game, the Blues go on the road for 4 in a row, starting Monday in Detroit. And we'll go to New Jersey on Tuesday.
Let's see how long that Ken Hitchcock here with this game flatlining and down 3-0, only 15 shots on goal halfway through. How quickly he may or may not change up these forward combinations. At the end of the last game against LA, he went back to that 21-17 and 91 line, and it was obviously good again. That hit the pipe.
Yes, Stewart hit the goalpost from long range, and Anderson never saw the shot. And now Berglund drops it back for Pietrangelo.
Again.
And then Perry fires it in.
The Blues are trying to force a lot of pucks, aren't they? I mean, they're trying to...
And a lot of stretch passes, Darren.
I know it's different angle where we are, but it's quite apparent that there's a 5-man unit that's in the middle of the ice between the two blue lines, and they're Ducks.
And you got to move your feet, Banger. That's the whole deal, is that they're trying to make those long passes. So you know what? If there's an opening in front of you, skate with it, and then make the pass. And that's exactly what's happening.
Emilio Estevez was on today. That movie was on, Mighty Ducks movie, and they had the V formation in the neutral zone going on.
You have too much time on your hands. Now a long pass. Knocked down by the Ducks. Lovejoy. Stewart trying to get behind him. Now Stewart gets the puck and shows some great strength. And Steen a drive and a stick save there by Anderson. And then Cogliano fires it back to center ice. Here's Shattenkirk ahead. You know, one thing Hitch mentioned before the game, he said, even if we fall behind, we feel we will get some scoring chances against this Ducks team.
Yeah, like the one that just took place. And it's a fine line between hitting the pipe and going out. Stewart grabs it, fires it on net. You can hear the clang right there. The goaltender didn't see it. Stewart does the smart thing. Just get it on net. He had a little bit of speed, a little congestion in front of the net. Cleanly beats the big 6'4", 225-pound goaltender over the blocker side. That's an area that teams have beat the goaltender on, but boy, the quality or clean looks have been few and far between. I think Anderson's getting a lot of good coverage in front.
Yeah, the Blues have not had many rebounds or any kind of second opportunities tonight.
Pretty good road team, the Anaheim Ducks. 14-5-3 is their record.
Not as good as their home record. 20-0-2 at home for the Ducks. Backes wins it back to Pietrangelo. And then a wrist shot hit a leg. And then kept in by Pietrangelo and Backes. That was intended for Steen. Comes around to Bouwmeester. And that was blocked by Getzlaf. Now ahead for Corey Perry. And he sails one to center ice.
How good has Getzlaf been in this game? I mean, he's having an outstanding season, but we're talking about two-way hockey. He's been terrific in his own zone as well.
Yeah, just so poised, Banger. I mean, it's like he's so under control. Like there's no panic, total relaxation.
And it comes around to the Duck captain. He was worked over there by Steen. Tried to center one through the legs, and now Fowler with a very strong skater ahead to Getzlaf. And then he was hit by Tarasenko. It rolls back to Shattenkirk. And Shattenkirk up the middle now for Sobotka.
This line's back together
with Tarasenko and Berglund. Tarasenko works in. And now looks out high. Instead to Berglund a shot. Hit a shin pad. And now it's Tarasenko to Berglund back to Jackman. Over for Shattenkirk. And he tried to hold it in. Now the Ducks take over. And Lovejoy with plenty of time off the boards and out.
See how much this line likes playing together, huh? Two players got incredible chemistry, and right away they make 3 short passes, probably inside 8 feet, and then they get a scoring chance.
And now it's Sobotka. Has Tarasenko in front. Sobotka didn't see him or couldn't get it there. Now back to the line. Here's Ian Cole. A shot. It's something, maybe Berglund. And now Tarasenko to Berglund again. In front, Sobotka. And then Berglund for Tarasenko. And that pass tipped away. Good stick there by Bolesky.
Just glanced off the tip of the blade. Otherwise, for one of the few times in this game, Anaheim's a little bit on their heels in their own zone.
And now the Ducks and Boschman can't clear it. Cole in front. And Derek Roy was cruising down the slot. That was broken up. And then the puck bounces back to the Blues line. Taken by Cole. 4:45 to go, second period. And the Ducks enjoy a 3-0 lead. Goals from Getzlaf, Beleskey, and Fowler as the Blues are called for an icing violation.
Icing call, and now we've got Payarby, Derek Roy, and Chris Stewart together on this line. But here's the chemistry that these three players have. Short little pass there, shot on goal. Regroup, get the puck, another short little pass, another short little pass. All these passes by the forwards are in very small areas of the ice. Their chemistry is absolutely uncanny. It is terrific to watch.
And now Roy will take it against Palmieri. Blues win the faceoff. Roy on with Payarby and Stewart. And then a reverse by Polak. That surprised Derek Roy. And then Polak comes over. Blues get it back. Payarby mishandles it. And then Polak trying to work it up the boards. Can't look out, wide open in front. Oh, Cogliano is robbed by Elliott.
Oh, what a save.
Wide open. And a big save by Brian Elliott. It remains 3-0 Ducks. Late second period.
There's some teammates heading to Sochi, Russia right there. Shattenkirk, Backus, Oshie, Cam Fowler, the fine young defenseman for the Anaheim Ducks, and he is our Mazda drive to the net recipient on the left-hand side. There he is. He just lets this one rip right here, and it's a power play goal, his 5th goal of the year. Beating Brian Elliott through traffic, high over the glove. Great shot.
And the face-off won by the Blues. And then thrown high by Jackman. That goes out of play. I think it was tipped.
Yeah.
And they're going to bring the face-off to center ice.
Linesman said it was tipped. Dan Whittick's arguing his case. Not going to be in the neutral. He's going to be in the defensive zone. It hit the top part of the glass and out of play, so without ricocheting off anything is what they're saying, I guess.
A lot of hand motions. I couldn't understand. My hand signals aren't good enough here to figure that out.
Now a loose puck in Brendan Morrow. He almost got behind the Duck defense. And that was Fister who made a good play at the last second. And now Morrow again. On with Reeves and Schwartz. So Schwartz is at center here. Now Morrow pushed down from behind. And then back to the corner. Jackman races in. And then Schwartz supports to the net. And stopped by Anderson. And then Jackman again. Down low on Maroon. And then a quartet of players fight for it. And the stick comes up on Schwartz. That was Jackman of the Ducks. And Schwartz is doubled over, and he checks for blood.
Yeah, he took the tip of the blade right up there in the chiclets. Yeah, it might be a double minor.
I think he's bleeding.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's going to be.
Keep your eye on the stick blade. It's going to just pop up right there. Minutes. So take the stick up in the mouth area right there. A little blood, double minor. An opportunity for the Blues to get right back into this game.
Blues have the second best power play in the league at 24.1%. Shattenkirk a shot. That was blocked. And the Ducks play it off the glass. That's knocked down by Roy. Back to Shattenkirk. They play catch. Shattenkirk winds up a drive, and it's saved by Anderson. And the puck off the boards. Good job by Whittick. He outmuscles Steen. Kills some time here.
Just one of those bounces, too, that just out of the reach there of Alexander Steen. Otherwise, he gets kept in.
Now Roy, a man fell down, but the Blues interfere with that player, and that's why the player fell down in a penalty call. And there goes 2 minutes in the double minor.
42, 2 minutes interference.
I'd like to take a closer look at this to see 42 there. He's just backing up, and so is Beauchemin backing up. I mean, David Backes doesn't do anything other than go backwards along the line.
And they clipped Foots.
Yeah, except that he was looking, guys. That's if he he can avoid him. I mean, I think that's the call there because he could have avoided him. He was looking at him, but he didn't avoid him. So I think that's why the call was made.
So 4-on-4 here. And the Ducks at center ice with Cogliano. He's got great speed. He darts in front. Oh, big save there by Elliott. Rebound, another save by Koivu by Elliott. Two dandies.
And Koivu's hunched over, probably said something to him. What a brilliant, brilliant save. That goes 4-0 at the end of the second period. That's a tough one to climb back from, as everyone well knows. But this two saves. This one on the redirect in the middle of the net, good position. This one just athleticism here. Just a good, quick reaction save while he's on the goal line. These ones are tough because he thinks it's going to his right. It comes back a little bit to his left, the crook of his arm, and then makes an old Curtis Joseph style kick save and a beauty there and uses his glove to back it up.
That's like that ball he throws against the wall. It's that little drill he does before the game.
Yeah, exactly.
And those saves keep the Blues in this game. Here is Berglund to the front of Bouwmeester. Couldn't get a shot. Now Bouwmeester around the net. Tip to the line. And this is Alex Pietrangelo. Celebrating his 24th birthday. That pass by Stewart picked off. And it's Getzlaf away for Anaheim. Into Perry, wide open. And a backdoor feed to Fowler. That was tipped by a stick, or Fowler might have had an easy one. And now Perry has it again. Tight angle. And that went off the glove of Elliott, then the glass, I believe, and out of play.
Chris Stewart has the puck on his tape, and the frustrations mount for the big fella. He tries to make a pass. He is obviously clipped or screened on this play, thinking that it's available, but there again is Ryan Getzlaf, who's been in incredible position throughout this hockey game. It has been a clinic for where to be on the ice for the captain of the Anaheim Ducks.
And a good play there by Bouwmeester to block that pass intended for Fowler.
You want to talk about having chemistry together, those two, though?
Oh. Perry and Getzlaf?
Yeah, Perry, it was like they had a set play there. Yeah. Perry came all the way around, just slowed down, and ended up just coming into the line and over the line. It's unreal watching this.
I'm going to think they'll get thrown together in Sochi.
I would say so. Wow.
Man.
And now the rookie Lindholm, still 4-on-4 here with 1:10 to go in the period. And the Ducks enjoying a 3-0 lead after losing last night in Chicago. Pass to center on to Steen. And he can't make it one in the second period. Good job by Allen to step up on him. And now Winnick drops it off. And Mark Fistrick, the former Dallas Star, kills some time.
They've been a good tandem in this game defensively. They're not the most mobile guys, but they're played a real smart positional game. And Allen's a big boy.
Blues are back on the power play for another 1:15 as Backes has returned. And then Shattenkirk for Jaden Schwartz. And here's Schwartz with 30 seconds left in the period. He comes in to Sabocha. And a shot hit the skate of Allen. Then goes to Schwartz again. Down low to Sabocha. Trying to jam it in. And a save by Anderson. It's loose, but the referee behind the net lost sight of it. And he blew the whistle.
That is his prerogative, but boy, that was clearly lined in front of the pads of Frederik Andersen. Sabocha knows and is aware, along with Schwartz, the time on the clock, but on the short side, he's trying to catch the goalie by surprise. It's tough when a goaltender is 6'4", 225 pounds. He goes down on one knee, and he still covers the short side fairly easily. Frustrating, though, because that puck was loose. You never 16 seconds left. Plenty of time to jam that through.
Blues win the faceoff back for Bouwmeester. And a red shot goes wide with a Schwartz screen in front.
Look how far out Anderson was, though. He was 2 feet outside of his crease.
And now it comes in front, back to Bouwmeester. 5 to go here. Pietrangelo, a shot, and that goes wide on the short side, and that'll do it. 38 seconds left in the power play. That will carry over into the third period. But the Ducks get 2 in that second from Bolesky and Fowler and extend their lead to 3-0 through 40 minutes. Blues have outshot the Ducks 19-16 so far in this game. But they cannot beat the rookie Anderson. Let's go to Pat Paris.
Shots on goal in the second period. Anaheim 8, the Blues 12.
Ducks so far tonight, leading 3-0. John and Darren back in the broadcast booth, and the Blues rather uncharacteristically not scoring a lot of goals at this point in the season. They have scored 4 goals in their last 4 games, including tonight. And Darren, when you're in a drought like that, if you want to call it that, it's imperative that you don't give up a lot, but the Blues unfortunately have given up a couple of goals in the last 2 games that really they shouldn't have.
No question about that. And the Blues goaltenders would be the first to say that they need to be better against California. And that's, it's one of the small reasons why the Blues are 1-6 against teams from California right now. So you want to grow up and you want to be a goalie, right? Oh, great.
You did.
There are accolades, and when you make great saves, it's all fun and games. There's no question. But there's not a worse feeling in the world when you know that the team is struggling scoring goals. You're trying to give them a lift. This was Yarrow against LA while the Blues were trying to get back in the game on the power play. Yarrow after the game said, "That's on me. I cost the team a win against LA." And then tonight here, a game in which it's only a 1-goal deficit. It's a turnover there by Barrett Jackman. It goes the other way. But Brian Elliott's the first to tell you that he needs to stop this puck because he does it every single day. It's one that just squeaks through him. And again, things get magnified when the pressure's on and the margin for error is a lot slimmer. It's a different story if the Blues have scored 6 goals in this game and we're leading 6-2. Now there's Yaroslav Halak on Thursday against the Kings. I'll take the blame for this one. It's unacceptable to make a mistake like that, especially in the 3rd period. We lost because of me. Well, that's a little harsh. We lost because of him. It's a team game, but he knows that those are momentum-sapping goals against on home ice, and the place was deflated after that, and the Blues couldn't get it back. One thing to keep in mind, the Blues have got to score more goals on home ice. Again, they're at 0 here, and only 1 against LA.
And 2 against Phoenix on Tuesday.
Right.
And if I can add a positive note, guys, the Blues were down 5-2 to the Chicago Blackhawks in the 3rd period,
right.
were they not, on the 28th of December, and they did win that game. 6-5.
So they were down by 2 goals 3 times in that game, Bernie.
Oh, okay. They weren't down by 3. Okay,
I don't think I was
wrong.
3.
Okay, I'm wrong. Once again, you proved me wrong, Johnny.
But your point is well taken.
Thank you.
It's not a game. It's not a team that's going to walk away here. This is going to be a fight.
Lewis on the power play. Now a shot by Pietrangelo. A pad save by Anderson. Ducks are back at full strength. And here's a feed down the wall for Cogliano to the front. Elliott to save. Where is it? As Jackman bangs away, it's under the pad of Brian Elliott.
And that's a little rustiness there from Alexander Steen as well, because Steen had good position on Tim Jackman, and yet Jackman got closer to the net on this play. Good pass by Cogliano, and there's Jackman. He's on the doorstep. He beats Steen there, and then he tries to jam it through right there, and what a great job by Brian Elliott, who made 2 tremendous saves at the end of the 2nd period, and that one there.
Now the Ducks, Lovejoy wanders in. Ducks this year when leading after 2, 26-1-2. The Blues are 3-6-2 when trailing. And now Backes gets it at the line. And forced the other way, but he dumps it in. And Fowler there. Around the boards, cut off there by Cole. And now Ben Lovejoy. Little short pass for Bonino. On to center ice for Bolesky. And then Bonino again. That almost hit Perry in the head. And he went ducky. No pun intended.
They've done some swapping here. TJ Oshie off the line with Backes and Steen. Schwartz has jumped there. Now Oshie with Stewart and Roy.
Now Stewart centers it. And that's taken care of by Perry. Off the boards, kept in by Oshie. He rattles it around behind the Duck goal. And then shot around by Anderson. And that trickles to center ice. Bouwmeester for Pietrangelo. And then Oshie down his off wing. He delays to Bouwmeester. A shot and a glove save by Anderson. But once again, he saw that all the way.
Yeah, the traffic was going by him from left to right. And just as the shot was released, all the traffic had left. And so there was nothing there. Good setup here by Oshie. One-timer by Bouwmeester. But at this point, you can see that the captain, Ryan Getzlaf, he's boxing out on one side. No one's getting to the inside. And it does make for a real easy save there by Anderson.
Anderson won his first 6 games as an NHLer this year. And on the year is 11-2.
First time since '93 when Damian Rhodes won his first 6 NHL starts.
With the Maple Leafs?
Oh, I was going to say Ottawa.
Yeah, it might have been Ottawa.
I think it was Ottawa.
Owen and Jackman ahead for Payarvi, but he did play for Toronto, right? Rhodes?
Hold on, yeah.
We'll check. We'll look it up. There's the Blues, Tarasenko. Now for Payarvi. Can't center it. Cogliano around the boards. Jackman lets it go for big Ryan Reeves. Reeves shoots one. That goes wide. And that time Anderson was screened by Berglund. And now it's pushed along for Brian Allen. Picked off at center by Shattenkirk. And then to the corner for Reeves. And now Morrow has it.
The referee was in the way there. Morrow couldn't do anything about it.
And the puck trickles by Pollock. And the Blues have to regroup at center ice. That's dumped right back in. Allen has it. Chased by Morrow. Now reverses for Winnick. And off the window and out. Here's Cole. Intended for Morrow. And then Cole steps up and the puck is played down the ice. It's Fowler back. And he is shouldered by Backus, but the puck is grabbed by Lovejoy. Now for Maroon. And that play is slowed up, and it's an offside against the Ducks. Well, all month on Toyota Blues Live, tune in for Holuary. Brett Hull shares stories and reflects on his time here in St. Louis. Toyota Blues Live Monday at 6, followed by the Blues and Red Wings at 6:30 on Fox Sports Midwest.
John Kelly, you are on a roll today.
Why is that?
First, you correct the Hall of Famer Bernie Federico, and you were right. And now I went Ottawa. It was Toronto for Damian Rhodes.
What do they say about a blind squirrel?
Yeah.
Here's Pietrangelo, a shot. And that's off a stick to the corner. And now Schwartz. Here's Steen following up.
They say he never knows what he's eating.
As Penner barges in, a shot wide. And now it trickles back in front. Bomeister there for the Blues.
Hanger, there's thousands of players that have played in this league. We can't know everything.
We leave that to the play-by-play guy.
Exactly.
Yeah, but Bernie, when it comes to goalies, he is usually spot on.
That's true.
Quite disappointed with that, to be quite honest with you.
But it's just analysis, Hanger. It's not facts, it's analysis.
Now Bolesky on the half wall. Funnels one for Bonino. And then back to the line. Beauchemin a shot. That was off a stick in front. Now Bolesky. Deep slot. Turning. And Silverberg, the former Senator, on goal. That's taken care of by Elliott. And Stewart back to center ice. Now in for Shattenkirk. Stewart to the front. Can't get a shot. And then Stewart twisting and turning down low on the rookie Lindholm. Stewart way high now. And he fires it. Hit a leg. Goes to the corner. And then Roy for Oshie. All kinds of different combinations here. And Oshie does a skate to the corner. He looks around. Shattenkirk tipped it through his legs, but nobody was there. And now Bolesky gets it by Oshie. A good move, but he lost the handle at the last second.
The old one-handed toe drag right there.
That was impressive. Very impressive.
He's played a strong game again. He always plays well against the Blues.
Hard to believe that he only has 4 goals, man. I mean, the upside is pretty good for what I'm seeing from him tonight.
Now Beauchemin ahead for the veteran Koivu. 6 minutes gone here in the third period. Nope. As Pollock was nearly stripped. Now Shattenkirk off the glass. And that's in the area of the Blues bench and over the bench. It's still 3-0 to the Ducks here in the third period. 4 goals today for Marty St. Louis.
Tells you a little bit about the difficult job of being a manager of an NHL team and then trying to run your Canadian national team, or any team for that matter. How difficult that must have been for Steve Yzerman on his captain, Marty St. Louis.
How often do you see that, though? 4 goals and then 3.
I know.
Come on.
Unbelievable.
Now it's Berglund for Tarasenko. Tarasenko spins one back of goal for Sobotka. And then Pietrangelo leaves it for Berglund. He winds up and fires it on goal, and a save by Anderson.
That's a good save right there. Boy, did he ever have to reach out to his right. Got that with his blocker. Now that's going to be icing. So the Blues have a push going here. The clock's ticking down. You get one, do you put Anaheim on their heels, or is Anaheim playing this way because they have a 3-0 lead? That's where it's difficult to figure out. But there's Berglund, gets it right on net. There's a blocker save. That's a good save because Sobotka's there. That's good net front presence there. But a better save by Anderson, who doesn't stay passive. For a big guy, he's not afraid to get outside that crease. Boy, he takes up a lot of area.
The Blues are one of 4 clubs that have not been shut out this year. Now Backes and Schwartz. Stolen in front by Jaden Schwartz. To Steen, back to Schwartz. Takes it. Shattenkirk, a drive, and that's tipped off the stick in front into the netting.
That's a rare miscue by the captain, Ryan Getzlaf of the Ducks. Try to make a little pass through the middle, and because of that, the Blues end up going tic-tac-toe right here. Backes with it. Here's the play by Getzlaf. He thinks he's got an easy out. It's picked off there by Schwartz. He can't shoot it on his backhand, so he plays it over to the one side to Steen, gets it right back. They never do get a scoring chance there. It goes up off the netting.
So I believe Schwartz is on right wing here with Backes and Steen.
That's exactly right. Oshie's with Roy and Stewart.
And the Blues looking for some kind of spark. Down 3-0.
Well, they're not getting any bounces, that's for sure. Some of those shots have got to go through, and none of them are going through.
Schwartz for Backes. Tipped along by Steen. And then Koivu comes back. And now worked up by the rookie Lindholm. And then Palmieri on his backhand, and he can't pull the trigger against Bouwmeester. And the puck rolls to center ice. Fired back in by Allen. And then around to Bouwmeester. And Pietrangelo. Not much to celebrate on his 24th birthday, at least so far.
And one thing's for certain, that long stretch pass, it's not working in tonight's game.
And now it's Winnick trying to barge to the middle. And that was broken up by Stewart. Long shot wide off a stick. And then Maroon in front. And that was blocked. And then Maroon feeds Fistrick. Here's Winnick back with a goal. Chased by Pietrangelo. And then Fistrick has it again. Rister. That's well wide of the goal. And Darren, those long stretch passes that Chicago, for instance, uses a lot, that really is not part of the Blues' DNA.
No, they do it all the time on the strong side. And they explode out of the zone and get going. But you're right about that. It's not something that the Blues are small area passes to get out as a 5-man unit.
Well, the Blues would like to say thank you to all our active reserve or retired members of the U.S. military. Members of our military are invited to join us on January 28th for Boeing Military Appreciation Night. Tickets start at $20 with a valid military ID. That is January the 28th. As the Blues come home from their long road trip to take on the Devils. Blues go to Detroit, New Jersey, Rangers, and Islanders next week. This is Vladdy Sobotka. Under 11 to play here. Berglund trying to hunt it down back of the goal. Taken by Tarasenko to the line. It's Jackman. Shoots one. He scores! Barry Jackman, and it's 3-1.
Not a hard shot, but boy, did it have some eyes. Found its way to the net. And Jackman and Roman Polak on the ice after some good work down low. This is the key here. The first guy was on the hunt, as you said, John Kelly, and that was Berglund. It keeps the play alive. Sobotka kind of boxes out Molesky and allows it to get right there to Barrett Jackman. And as you mentioned before, the other one's getting blocked, not finding its way through. That one does. It has eyes.
Well, Jackman had his first goal in 51 games on January 2nd against the Kings and gets number 2 tonight. And the Blues, as you can see, are a very good third-period team. Now Steen a drive and a blocker saved by Anderson. So that makes it 3-1. The goal by Jackman at 9:12 from Tarasenko and Sobotka. Now the puck in front. Oh, off the skate of Steen. Now Steen recovers a shot. And that was off a shin pad in front. And the Ducks roll it down the ice. We'll see if that gives the Blues a spark here.
Well, you know what they say about a 3-1 lead on the road with 10 minutes to go, fellas. It's the worst lead in hockey.
And now we're getting an icing call back at center. Backes involved with big Brian Allen. And we'll get a whistle here. So Jackman gets his second from Tarasenko and Sobotka.
Big Brian Allen's been a horse on the back end. Big number 55, he holds the line here. And Backes tries to give him a shove. Allen actually grabs his stick for a split second. That puck goes through and icing.
Blues control the face-off, Pietrangelo off the boards. Oh, Reeves really hit hard by Fister.
This is that tandem. They've been rock solid on the blue line. They hold the line. They just will not give up the line.
And they're big boys. Fistrick 6'2", 230. And Allen is 6'5", 225.
We know Ryan Reeves is, at 6'4", 225 pounds can go through anybody. But Ryan Reeves tries to get it in deep on the left side. He's trying to pinch it in. Bang! That line's in the way. His name's Fistrick.
Well, Fistrick did not play last night. Boudreau likes to play bigger people against the Blues. Players like Fistrick, also Maroon and Jackman. Now the Blues race in. Here's Bouwmeester in front for Oshie. And then Brendan Morrow. They jam it in. And Anderson has it, and we get a whistle.
Good play by Bouwmeester with patience going down the left side. Didn't panic with that puck. Didn't just throw it in there. He waited and made a good play. And this is where you can't afford, while this scrum's going on, you can't afford to take a minor penalty to nullify any of the momentum that the Blues have right here. So we'll see what's going on. Wes McCauley looking at both of them. That's the referee to your right.
And we get a break. Well, the Blues are on the board. Jackman second at 9:12.
He's checking to see if that arrow is straight. Veteran Brendan Morrow in front of the net on that skirmish. Brendan Morrow told me yesterday that he was one of the players at fault for taking a bad minor penalty in that game against LA. But just before the scrum in front, good play by Bouwmeester. The skates of Oshie leads that puck right over there to Brendan Morrow. Morrow tries to jam it home on the big goaltender, and then the scrum ensues here. But to mention the referees here, Wes McCauley ranks 32 out of 32 primary referees in penalties called per game, least amount. So that little scrum there, he let the boys all go at it.
That's hockey.
I mean, if you're going to make a call, then you're hoping that one on each, not just one guy goes.
It was with the face-off, a shot by Tarasenko and a save. After Sobotka won the face-off. Now Sobotka out high, and that's Boschman there with the stick.
Great play to stay up with him that high in the zone.
And Boschman across to the rookie Lindholm. In the middle now for Bolesky. Toward the goal, that was Silverberg after it. And now the Blues get it back, and here they come. Under 9 to go. Sobotka wanders in for Bouwmeester. Right in, a shot, he just missed. As he tried to pick that near corner. And now Tarasenko has it for the Blues. Tarasenko tripped in a slot. And the referee let it go, and Bolesky's off to the races. Clear-cut breakaway, and a save by Elliott. That's the third breakaway tonight that Elliott has denied.
Gord Dwyer was right there with Wes McCauley. That's an opportunity on the offensive side of it for Tarasenko. We'll see here the skates definitely. I mean, he gets tripped up.
Yeah,
sticks right between it, and Bolesky goes in and nearly caps off this game with his second of the game. A great save there by Elliott on the breakaway.
And he keeps the Blues in the game. It's 3-1.
I'm not sure how you don't call that.
No, I can't believe it either, Panger. I mean, he made the move, and it was just the stick coming out, and he clearly got his skates. He's clearly got the skates.
And now Shattenkirk up the middle for Schwartz. And then for Steen. And a little bit of a wrist shot right into the glove of Anderson with 8:07 left.
Well, Alexander Steen wasn't going to return unless he was as comfortable as he could possibly be to return to the action, because you're not going to dance around out there against a big team like Anaheim. You know you're going to get involved. And he has to take a hit on the far side there to get that puck in north.
And Steen, after 2 periods, over 12 minutes of ice time.
Oshie at center, Reeves on the right, Morrow on the left.
And now Oshie down low. He was chopped down. Jackman pinches in, but can't get there in time. Winnick will fire it down the ice. Now Shattenkirk ahead. Long stretch pass to Jackman. And he was hit hard by Allen. And then Ryan Reeves can't hold it in. Jammed to center by Koivu. Now Pietrangelo for Morrow. And that's broken up. Now Jay Bouwmeester. Pass out of the reach of Reeves. Here's Allen off the boards. And that comes to neutral zone. Blues reload. Here's Pietrangelo. Backhand blocker save. Big rebound in front. And then Backes with it to Steen. Anderson kept it out. And it goes wide of the goal. Now Backes centers it. Pietrangelo a shot. Delayed penalty here against Anaheim. Jaden Schwartz to the net. And that was off a skate, and now Cogliano grabs it. And the Blues will get a power play, a holding minor.
Well, this is the push and the intensity in the second and third battles on the puck that the Blues were looking for to begin this game.
Anaheim. Holding.
So big Brian Allen, who's had a real physical game, gets nabbed for a holding. This comes on the heels of that missed trip there on Tarasenko. And what a good battle in front of the net. There's the takedown right there. And the referee, one referee has got the stick in his hand, but it's the referee in the backside that sees it.
And the Blues 0 for 3 tonight. They control the face-off. Here's Steen, a drive. Oh, what a save by Anderson. That was tipped on the way through. Fowler with it. Can't get much on the backhand clear. And now Vladimir Tarasenko. And he works in. Watched by Beauchemin. And then back to Shattenkirk for Steen. Backdoor feed to Sobotka. That was too hot to handle. Good play, though. Now Steen again. This time lets it go. Block. Tarasenko backhander. And a save by Anderson.
What a save the first one was. That one was the easiest of the two. Oh, this kid's been great in net for the Anaheim Ducks. They are getting outstanding goaltending in this contest.
And how about the difference having Steen back on the point, though, with those shots, the one-timers coming across. That was 2 great shots across on the one-timers.
Yeah, the first one, he's actually looking for Sobotka to the right of the goaltender across the grain. A little too hot to handle. And the second one was this. Oh, that was the that's the first one you're talking about, Bernie.
Yep.
That got redirected. And then Tarasenko with the shot, backhander. And the goaltender knows Berglund's right there on the doorstep. He has to respect that. He can't over-challenge. And he makes a good play. But you're right. Just the one-time ability of Steen is so good.
Blues control the face-off. Shattenkirk a shot. And that was blocked in front and cleared by Winnick. And 40 gone in the Blues power play. 6:20 left in regulation. Blues down by 2. Shattenkirk for Schwartz. And he flies in. Watched by Beauchemin. Now down low to Backes. Oshie goes to the front. And that pass hops over the blade of Shattenkirk. And that's a bad break for the Blues.
Yeah, it is. That's a firm one. And we know when Backes on the ice, he fires them firm.
Here's Steen getting by Bonino. Ducks back in. And now Patrick Berglund grabs it. Throws one to the corner for Steen. And then for Oshie. Lovejoy steps up. But now Oshie picks his pocket. And then Berglund at the line. To Oshie. Pass for Pietrangelo. Return feed to Oshie. And getting a bit restless here. 30 to go in the power play now for Schwartz. And he scores! What a play by Schwartz!
What great hockey sense by Schwartz. Sees the goalie cheating off the post. Anticipating a pass in front, and Schwartz gets off the schneid with a 16th. After the puck was bobbing around, the fans are getting a little impatient. And keep your eye on the left side of your screen. Schwartz sees the goalie leave, and I don't know how he finds room there. There's just enough room to go off the pants as the blocker has a little too much aggressiveness and into the net.
Well, Anderson was not square, and Schwartz read it well. And banked it off his leg, and it's a 3-2 game.
Now this place is jumping. Momentum, the energy, Bernie, is changing in this barn.
Yes, it is. You could just hear this crowd come alive. And you know what's funny about it? We talked about it. If you can get that first goal, I think Jackman's goal has really turned around this crowd, and all of a sudden you get a power play. And I mean, I think everybody on this bench believes that they can still come back, and I think we can see that the crowd right now believes that this is a comeback once again, guys. But this is so electric in the building right now compared to what it was a few minutes ago. This is that extra attacker that they have is in the stands right at the moment.
And amazing, that's only his second power play goal of the year for Schwartz. Comes at a great time, and it gives the Blues some life.
He breaks the 5-game goalless drought with his 16th of the year from Oshie and Pietrangelo. And it's a 1-goal game. Anderson puts it on the glass. Cut off by Sobotka. Vladdy Sobotka. Oh, and a hard pass, too hot to handle for Bouwmeester. He was wide open. And the Blues fire it right back in. Getzlaf kicks one to Boschevin. And around the roulette wheel, that's kept in. Tarasenko for Bouwmeester. He waits. Now to Pietrangelo. And then to Sobotka. Under 5 to play here. Sobotka waits. And that was blocked by the leg of Getzlaf.
That's 2 plays that you don't often see from Sobotka right there.
And Terry's shot hits glass. Comes around now for Patrick Berglund. Uh-oh, kept in by Getzlaf. Perry was cherry-picking behind the defense. And now the Blues get it back. And here's Vladdy Sobotka. And he waits for his mates to make a change on the fly. Now he goes off. Jackman for Shattenkirk.
Smart play.
And then to Steen.
I thought that was offside.
It was close. Molesky with it. And that does come to center ice. Backus lost the handle. And now it's Silberberg again, but he is shouldered off the puck by Barrett Jackman. And now Backus with 4 minutes left. He's knocked down. Centering pass and a shot by Benino was blocked. And it goes to the corner and handled by Shattenkirk. And now on to Steen. Here's Steen trying to hit Schwartz at center. And that's broken up by a duck stick. Here's Jackman for Schwartz. And that is offside. With 3:42 to go, the Blues have scored 2 in the third from Jackman and Schwartz, and they have made it very interesting down the stretch.
It is great to see that young man on the left. His name is Marcus Laspy, and he's with his parents, Mark Laspy and Jennifer Robertson, and his buddy there. And he suffered a C3 vertical spine injury as a result of a hockey accident playing high school for Duchesne. And he's in one sense, you say what a fortunate young man. He's doing extremely well, but it goes to show you just how tough this game can be, and you have to have such respect for your opponents in certain times. And this young man was in a pretty vulnerable spot and took a pretty wicked hit. Great to see him here. He got a stick from Steen, got a stick from Yaroslav Halak today at practice. So spirits are good. So good work, Marcus.
Yeah, in the Blues locker room and meeting all the guys. And we wish him a speedy recovery.
Absolutely.
And the Blues to center. Here's Roy for Oshie. Stewart on the right side of this line. Now Oshie with it. 3:10 to go here. Blues down by 1. Stewart for Roy. And his shot blocked, and that goes off a duck stick into the netting.
I got a moment here, guys. I wanted to say hello to Zach Epplin, to our buddy. He had some surgery yesterday at Children's Hospital. Zach, if you're watching the game, we're pulling for you. You're going to come out of this just perfectly. Just get well real quick.
Yeah,
absolutely. Hope to see you back at Scott Trade.
Yes, sirree.
Well, we got Sobotka here on the face-off. A little milling about with the goaltenders. They're a little crack in the ice, maybe right there to the right. This allows the Ducks to get a little bit of a breather here. At the same time, the Blues unit up front, led by Sobotka, they can get their set play in order. Time now for our our BMO Harris check replay of the night, and there's been a ton of them here in this game. Some explosive hits right here. And as you would expect, two big teams, two successful teams going at it.
Huge face-off. Controlled by Sobotka. And then Jackman moved in, couldn't get a shot. And now Getzlaf has it for the Ducks. And ahead for Perry. Down the boards. And then Kevin comes back. He gives Perry a bit of a hip check, I believe. He went sprawling into the end boards and gets up.
He left the puck and kind of went in for a little reverse hit and gave him a hip check, it looked like.
And a pass to center for Tarasenko. Trying to walk around Lindholm. Tarasenko against the rookie. Fights off the check. Now in front, a shot and a save by Anderson.
How about that for incredible strength on the puck? Tarasenko would not be denied. Coming in as a left-hand shot, one hand on his stick, trying to protect it against Lindholm there. Balanced out, stops on a dime, one hand on his stick, and then not only that, comes out and tries to shock the goaltender with a quick release. That's an outstanding effort.
Boy, that's strong, isn't it?
Oh.
Holy smokes.
And balance.
Oh.
2:28 left. It is Backes against Bonino. Draw one by the Ducks. And then it's Schwartz to steal it for Backes. And the captain to the line for Pietrangelo. Tunnels one to the corner. And there is Steen wrapped up by Allen. Steen gets away. Tries to find some open ice. And Steen shot. Hit a body. Up in the air. No one knows where it is. Puck comes down. And Allen now for Winnick and off the boards and out.
That won't have enough, though.
And no icing. Pietrangelo quickly back to center to Backes. And his pass blocked by Koivu. And he does a good job defensively.
What a play. He got his skates in the intercepted the pass by Backes and then gets it out of the zone.
1:45 to go. Elliott could be lifted at any point here. Blues trailing by one. That's center Koivu check. Now Backes. In there with Schwartz and Pietrangelo. And now it is Schwartz on Lovejoy. And then stolen by Tarasenko. Tarasenko to the line to Shattenkirk. To Sobotka. And he broke his stick. At the worst possible time. Tarasenko back on the goal. Wins a race. And wins another battle. And now it's knocked down. Winnick off the boards. And that goes off the near boards. And this will go for icing with 1:07 left in the third period.
Imagine there'll be a timeout being called. They'll wait for as long as possible. This is just so unfortunate here. You get set up for a one-timer and the frustration that these players go through in these situations. What a time for that twig to snap. Gary Agnew on the right. Ken Hitchcock's got the board. He's taking it right from Agnew. And they'll go over a game plan.
So the Blues exercise their timeout. And you would think they will pull the goalie with 1:07 left. Look at the Ducks' record in one-goal games.
You know that 49% of NHL games end in one goal?
Not surprising.
And that's why it's a wonderful thing that there is something called overtime now, because in the olden days, the ties were just not good enough.
So the Blues leave Elliott on the bench. And 6 attackers. Steen, Tarasenko, Oshie, Backes, Sobotka, and Shattenkirk on the ice.
Well, the conversation on the ice here, we'll see if it's the right-handed David Backes. It's the left-hander here, so I think you'd be sure in this situation here that the play has... Well, now he's looking one way or this way here. They're making sure that they know exactly the assignments of the wingers. And I think Sobotka wants Backes maybe to take this draw as a right-hand shot. He can play it towards the boards.
You know, it's interesting, too, guys, too, is the fact of the matter, too, is that because of the icing, there's no Getzlaf or Perry on the ice, too, which would probably be out here right now. The Ducks weren't able to make the change because of the icing.
Yeah, but you got a pretty reliable guy in Koivu right there.
I would agree.
But we'll see where Sobotka wants to play the puck. This is a really important part of it. Oshie's on the left point. and he's got support. He's going to need this guy right here to battle hard for a puck if it comes to the left. But Sobotka looks like he wants to maybe go to the right to where Backes is.
And they'll put a second on the clock, 1:08 left. It's Koivu against Sobotka. Empty net for the Blues, down by a goal. And the faceoff won cleanly by Koivu. Off the boards, kept in by Sobotka. Tarasenko trying to get to the slot, kept in by Shattenkirk. And another keep in by Shattenkirk. Down to Steen. In front of Backes. Let it roll on him. And now Oshie. Oshie to the near side for Sobotka. Down low to Steen. Steen in front. Sobotka trying to throw one through the crease. Blues get it back. On the outside, now Steen with it. That shot blocked and then fired down the ice by the Ducks, and an icing called with 33 seconds left.
That's a great
the
effort.
Ducks can't change.
Great effort. Fans are on their feet here at Scottrade because of some tenacity. Good reads there by Shattenkirk on his toes.
I can't believe that Winnipeg actually iced this puck.
And they're going to check the time again. 33.1 seconds remaining. Maybe they add a fraction of a second. Nope. Now Sobotka's able to play this to the left. It's a more, I think this is a better area for Sobotka.
Against Koivu. And he comes back with it. Oshie hops on the puck. Shattenkirk. That shot blocked. And the Ducks come up with it. And they chip it onto center ice. But Oshie beats Winnick to it. 20 to go in the third period. Now Steen, he was rocked by Allen. And the Ducks fire it wide of the goal. And this will be a race, and they're going to say no icing here as Perry beats Shattenkirk to the dots. 10 seconds left here. Tarasenko back. Now into Oshie. By him in. A shot on. A save by Anderson with 1.8 seconds to go. And what a chance for Oshie.
Holy jumping. What transition that was. To get a scoring chance out of that is remarkable in itself, and it nearly squeaks through the pads. Good play by Tarasenko, just barely staying onside his Oshie, and then he releases it. The goaltender's on his heels on the goal line. Puck doesn't squeeze through. Anderson makes a real good save there.
1.8 seconds left. They might put a second or so back on the clock.
Yeah, I would think so, John, because it looked like when the save was made, 3.2, but by the time the whistle blew, it's probably, I'm going to say, 2.8 or so. But they go to 2.6. Enough time.
Backes against Koivu.
Well, he can go with a right-hand shot here on Bernier. It's there and punch back quickly. And that's probably as much time as you're going to have.
That's all you got.
And Backes kicks in. Oshie, the shot. It didn't get through, and that will do it. And the Ducks hang on and win it 3-2. And the Blues lose 2 in a row at home in regulation for the first time this year.
Yeah, this is an area they want to get out of. What they can look at is the third period of this game. But our Bud Light player of the game is Vladdy Tarasenko. I thought he was outstanding on the puck. And obviously when they put that line back together midway through that second period, they started hopping as well. And when the game was on the line, Tarasenko became a prominent player. But so did that guy right there. Frederik Andersen was terrific in goal for Anaheim.
Yeah, he stops 34 of 36 tonight. And the Ducks win 3-2. Let's go to Pat Paris.